What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Happy Sunday. We got an action-packed day of NFL football today. We've also got a pretty tasty baseball game later tonight for a lot of us. But if you are on this channel, your focus right now is probably on tomorrow night, where we've got ourselves I would call it a pretty pivotal game, not because this win is worth a lot more than other wins. I mean, it's an AFC team. It's not something that's going to really determine things tiebreaker wise more than other games. If anything, other games matter more. But I feel like this is a game that's going to tell us something about the kind of season this team is going to have. It kind of makes me think of the Huskies game yesterday, where I said that I think that this game is going to go a long way in telling us whether or not we're going to have a good season or a great season. And that's where I am with this one right here. Even though the game doesn't matter as much as other games we're going to play, this game is going to tell me a lot on whether or not we're going to have a good season or a great season. Be right back. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you guys about Sleeper. I'll tell you a little secret as well. It's more than just a platform for fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users have enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but there's so much more to it. You have live stats, real-time updates of all stats. You have a news feed with lightning-fast updates on players and teams, and a real-time chat where you can engage with other users about plays, performances, games, all kinds of stuff during the sports season. So download Sleeper, experience it for yourself, and don't forget to use my promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit, and pair that with their new promo that will give you a free $20 entry, no deposit needed. So you can use both of those promos. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and going. So check out Sleeper today and use those promos. All right. So this Houston Texans team, I don't think they're particularly great this year, but there are some great things about them. And I get the sense that this is the kind of game where we can prove we're starting to turn it around at home, because so far this year, Operation Turn It Around at Home has been kind of a failure. We're 1-2 at home, and look, both losses were very close. Both losses came down to one or two plays at the end of the game, but they're still losses. So this is going to tell me a lot about this team. Can you find a way to beat a very flawed, not a bad team, but a very flawed Houston Texans team and go to 5-2? I think we all have a pretty good idea of what this Houston Texans team is. They are all about their defense, and their offense is still trying to find themselves. Their offense is very, very limited by their offensive line. They haven't been able to find solutions since really 2023. And their attempts to do so have, if anything, it feels like have just made it worse. Last year, at least, they had a franchise caliber left tackle in Laramie Tunsil. They traded him away this offseason. They tried replacing him with Cam Robinson. Now they're trying to replace him with a rookie. They tried to fill left guard with Laken Tomlinson. They've already given up on that, by the way. Apparently, he's already hit the bench. So, looks like we're getting Juice Scruggs playing out of position. And it's just not a good offensive line, and there's a cascading effect from there, man. There's a cascading effect from that offensive line to where they don't run the ball that well. Their running game is okay. They've kind of cobbled it together with Nick Chubb and not really Pierce. Pierce has kind of become an afterthought in that offense, but Woody Marks, they're doing okay. It's passable, but it's... When you think about this year as the final year before C.J. Stroud gets his contract extension, he probably will get extended this offseason. What an abysmal failure, right? This is the time where you should be stacking talent behind C.J. Stroud. This is the time where you should be going all out to build a super team, because I imagine C.J. Stroud's next contract, I know that his numbers have gone down over the last year and a half now, but I imagine C.J. Stroud's next contract is going to be possibly record-breaking. It's going to be up there with Dak Prescott, and I don't think he's as good a quarterback as Dak Prescott by any means. I think Dak's a lot better, but that's how this works. and you're blowing this final opportunity to really contend before that money kicks in. Now, I know the money doesn't kick in until a few years down the line, but you're going to have to make some tough decisions based on the fact that you now have some ridiculous contract on your books. You're some maybe $300 million deal, probably more than Brock Purdy got, probably more than Tua got. Like I said, it's going to be up there with what Dak Prescott got. And I don't totally understand why they've chosen to go this way, but it's like I said, it limits their running game. Their running game is just okay. Even if their offensive line was better, it's not like their running game talent is the greatest in the world. But it would certainly be a little bit more reliable than it's been. And the passing attack with a good quarterback has been, again, pretty mediocre. And it just strikes me as a colossal waste. They got Nico Collins. Nico Collins has been great, but other than that, and I guess you could throw in Dalton Schultz. He's all right. Dalton Schultz is pretty good. But other than that, I don't know what they're getting. Christian Kirk is out for this game, so you're talking about rookie Jaden Higgins, who I like a lot, but he is a rookie and he hasn't done much yet. Got Jalen Noel, who has done even less. You got Xavier Hutchinson, who I remember liking him a decent amount in college, but so far been kind of anonymous. And you've got Harrison Bryant, second tight end because Cade Stover's hurt. It's a pretty bland offense. It's got a number one receiver. It's got a quality tight end. Not a great tight end, but a quality tight end. And that's really about it, it feels like. There isn't a lot else to say about this Houston offense. Their play calling is heavily limited by their by their offensive line as well. Like, it all cascades from there. And that's how you get to this point where CJ Stroud had one of the best, probably a top 10 rookie season in NFL history for a quarterback. And he's regressed since then. I don't think he as a player has regressed, but his performance has. And that's a franchise's worst nightmare. This is the time where you should be hitting things as hard as you can. This is the time where you should be going, well, we are going to move heaven and earth. Excuse me. We're moving heaven and earth. Compete. And they haven't done that. And honestly, I haven't seen much of an attempt on their part. It's weird. Like, it'd be one thing if they were investing a lot into the offensive line and it wasn't working, like the Giants. Right? The Giants have thrown pick after pick after pick at their offensive line. They still can't really get it right. But with Houston, I don't think the attempt has been all that great. So, right then and there, I'm looking at this Seahawks defense and I'm like, okay, live in that backfield. This defensive line, this edge rusher room, even without Derek Hall, I don't care about not having Derek Hall. Look at what you did at Jacksonville and replicate it. Do the same thing. There's a lot less talent on this offensive line than Jacksonville's offensive line. And like Jacksonville, Houston has done a really good job so far this year of keeping the ball out of CJ Stroud's hand. He gets it out of his hands very quickly. So you got to be ready for that. You got to understand what you're dealing with there. Houston's been kind of forced into an offense like that because of their circumstances. So you got to just go out there and you got to go out there and do the same kind of thing that you did against Jacksonville. And then you got to worry about the other side. And this is where things get dicey, right? You make a couple of mistakes against a good Houston defense, and they can be put in a situation where the offensive line doesn't matter so much because they get to just run the clock out because they build a lead. So mistakes are going to kill you. You can't have turnovers. You can't be doing things that allow Houston to jump on top of you without necessarily earning it, because I don't believe that offense is capable of earning it. I don't believe that their offense is capable of putting together long drives. That is an offense that goes, for the most part, station to station. They pick up 5-6 yards at a time, one negative play, one penalty, and the drive, it's really hard for them to recover from that. So as long as you're not the team that makes the mistake, you're not the team that makes the bad turnover, then I think things are going to play out, but that means playing conservatively. And I do expect that to be happening tomorrow night. I think that there's there's a lot to be concerned about with that Houston pass rush. They got a really nice pass rush going right now. They've got a nice rotation on the outside. Will Anderson. We don't know if we're going to have Danico Autry this week, but he's he's out there as well. Danielle Hunters. He's been around forever. Been a great player for them. It is a pass rush that can throw a lot at you. They even got like Darrell Taylor as their fourth edge, which is exactly the kind of role that he should probably be occupying. So they've got plenty of stuff there. They've got great corners, right? Derek Stingley, although I will say, Derek Stingley seems like ever since he got paid, he hasn't quite been the same player. He hasn't been playing at the ultra high level that he earned that contract with. They've got some good stuff going on in that secondary overall. They got Kamari Lassiter. It's a great defense, and right now they're ranked number 1 in the league. But if you look at the teams that Houston has earned that number 1 rank against, like these last couple weeks, these last couple games they played against teams like Tennessee, Baltimore with Cooper Rush, there should be a higher standard coming from this offense right now. And I don't think the Seahawks offense is like the best in the league, but I do see an offense that should be able to be at a much higher standard than the teams that Houston has kind of just pulled apart with their defense over the last couple games they played. You've got a real question. How is Houston going to treat JSN? I think that's kind of where this whole game starts. I think that's where this really comes down to. Are they going to double him? Are they going to treat him like a true number 1 receiver? Or are they going to be like these other teams have been so far this year and just kind of treat him like a guy that isn't totally taken seriously? And I think most of the league understands that JSN is a very good player, but I do get the sense that they don't think of him the same way they think of Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, or maybe even a guy like a CeeDee Lamb. There's just this sense that, he's good, but he's not on that top tier, and we're not going to treat him like he's on that top tier. And we're just going to single team him, and we're going to let things just kind of take care of themselves, and we don't think he's going to be able to beat us. At some point, somebody out there is going to be like, well, he's beating us. Every game, he's dominating. We got to take this seriously. We got to throw a lot of we got to bracket him. We got to throw double teams at him. Is Houston going to do that? Does Houston need to do that? Do they think Derek Stingley can take care of JSN? And, I mean, I will say that JSN has not faced a challenge on the level of a Derek Stingley this season. So this is a different level of challenge for him. But can we get Houston to come out of their stacked boxes? Because Houston doesn't stack the box a lot anyway. Houston's not a big stacked box team. They play you straight up. Kind of like Jacksonville did when we went into that game. But we got Jacksonville to stack the box again because I think they didn't take JSN as seriously as they should have, and we made them pay. So what's Houston going to do? Is anybody going to figure this out? Is any defense out there capable of figuring this Seattle offense out? And is anybody going to do it before JSN has 2,000 yards at the end of the year? Is that what it's going to take for people to take this guy as seriously as they should? Because, look, I'd love to go into this game and say, hey, we're going to run the ball. Because I don't think that Houston interior defensive line has anything for me. I think that that interior defensive line is made up of journeymen, and it's made up of replacement level players. I don't think there's a lot going on there to be afraid of. They got like Sheldon Rankins and Mario Edwards in the middle there, and they're just guys. But I know that this interior offensive line may not be ready for that. We may not be able to put the game on their shoulders and be like, hey, we got this. So as much as I want to sit here and say we're going to take advantage of Houston's soft interior, there's a big part of me that just kind of knows this game is going to come down to, can JSN win his battles on Derek Stingley? And if they double him, can Torrey Horton or Cooper Kupp or A.J. Barner pick up the slack? I feel okay about this one, but I'm very aware that this game is probably going to come down to 1 or 2 plays, and it's hard to know what you're going to get. I'm going with something around like Seattle 17, Houston 13. Feels like a low-scoring game. We just need to be careful and not be the team that makes the big turnover and the big mistake. So, yeah, 17-13, Seattle. That's my pick. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think about this one. See you soon.